Welcome, everybody. I'm glad to see you here connecting us with us today. Um, in today's session, we will be covering how to use the Crossref's new helper tool, the Metadata Manager, which is not necessarily that new, but it has going through some very important improvements. We will cover some live demos and you will see all of the opportunities that you have to deposit and improve your metadata records. My name is Luis Montilla, Technical Community Manager here at Crossref. I'm part of the community team. I'm also joined today by Shane Smulian from the membership team, Technical Support Specialist, and also my colleague Rihanna Mohammed, also from the community team. They will be supporting us also in the chat. So if you have any burning questions, don't hesitate to uh, add it there in the chat. We will make the best to solve all of your questions. Just in case anyone is new to using these Zoom tools, you will find there in the red arrows the location of the chat icon. You can use that to open the box where you will be able to see the different comments from the people. You can use that to add your questions. If you just want to react to something that we are mentioning, you can use that icon, the heart icon that you can see next to it. And also you can see if you, instead of just interacting, want to use just a very specific question that you want to be answered, you can use the Q&A box that is there in the third option. And in theory, you should also have enabled the captions option in case that you want to display subtitles in your preferred language. And with that, let me walk you through the general points that we'll be covering today. As I was mentioning, today we will be demoing the Crossref Metadata Manager, which is basically this tool that will let you deposit article and grant metadata in a friendly manner. It's much more interactive. You will see that it's very friendly, a very friendly interface. We will also be highlighting the different advantages of this new tool over the previously existing ones. Some practical steps for making the transition in case that you are still familiar with the previous version. Um, and we will use this opportunity not for a hands-on practice, but I will live demo the version and we will use the chance to answer your questions if you have any. In case that we need a refresher about the different content registration methods that you have available at Crossref, um, often we start from this flowchart where we ask our members if they are using PKP's Open Journal Systems platform. This is because we have an important number of members that are using this interface, in which case, if they do, basically they have available a series of plugins that lets them make the deposit directly from the platform. And in those cases that a member is not using these platforms, the next question would be, how comfortable are you using XML files? Um, if you are comfortable using this, basically you can just create and edit your XML files and then deposit this with us either via HTTPS post or using our admin tools. But if that's not the case, uh, there are multiple interfaces that you have also available. You can use our web deposit form that covers most of the content types that you are probably interested in, like journal articles, books, book chapters, reference, etc. Then you also have the second option which is the one that we will be covering today, the metadata manager, and this version is as of today only available for journal articles and research grants. However, I will also show some updates and work in progress it will be relevant, very relevant for other content types in the future. Why are we doing this? Why are we redesigning this tool, improving this? It has multiple advantages for you as users. Uh, First and foremost, it has a simpler user interface. It lets you validate the input, preventing submission errors. That's what we always want to do. We want to make our submissions as clean as possible. Of course, you can also make real-time deposits. Uh, you also have the ability to submit references directly in your records, and also including other elements that might be missing from other platforms. For example, we know that people using OJS 3.3 and 3.4 are experiencing an inability to deposit affiliation metadata and raw IDs. Using this tool that we will be covering today, you can also include this metadata right away. What else? This tool is being improved, having in mind a solid technical foundation. The idea is this tool is being improved over time, extended, uh, adapted according to the community's needs. Is extensible to support other content types and adapt also to adapt it to different schema changes in the future. As I just mentioned, it has also the ability to deposit raw IDs, both as part of the affiliations or for funding metadata. And now we are removing also the need for title or volume or even issue level DOIs. And then actually here comes an important piece of warning. If your journal is not using yet an ISSN, you cannot register your journal article using this tool yet. This will be improved in the future. Let us know if that's your case and how we can help you. Um, but in principle, you can still use the web deposit form to register your journal content. The web deposit form is not going to be anywhere soon. That will continue to be supported in the meantime. However, if that's not your case, you can use your options in the metadata manager. Now I'm going to highlight some of the differences in the experience from what we had in the old metadata manager in comparison with the new one. Um, One of the main differences is that you're moving away from this style of, let's say, shopping cart, where you make a deposit of multiple records, to this style of having just one record, one submission that you review, and then you can start another one. Then instead of having a deposit history like the capture that you see here, you will see a list of records that you can edit at any point in time. So to show you how this looks like in action, I'm going to pause for a second my screen. Actually, I'm going to stop sharing to show you. Oh, let me stop this for a bit. Once again, if something is not clear, please add your questions in the chat or in the Q&A box. So I'm going to share this. Also, please confirm if you cannot see it, but hopefully you should see it. So this is the new interface. As you can see here, the first two options are new record or edit record. Let's try to do a dummy submission, just so you can see how is the experience for the user. So the first option that you will be facing here is the kind of content type that you will be depositing. As I mentioned before, right now the two active options are journal articles or grants. Let's do an example with the journal article. So if we select this option, we can just click continue. And we will see this very comfortable user interface. Let's add something here, uh, just a random example title. However, as you can see here, you can already see some valuable information that will help you to make correct deposits. So for example, here, it is specifying that you should only add the primary title, excluding subtitles. Then in the field DOI, it will have a validation. So you can add your prefix and then your desired suffix. We will have the uh, landing page, which we also validated. And then here you will find the possibility to add the different contributors of that journal article. You can have the last name of let's use a single author. Let's use my name for now. So you can see here, you can directly add ORCID IDs, also validated in the long form. And then this is one of the newest improvements. So you will be able to add the affiliation, but this is also a search box. So if you start typing here an organization, you will be able to see different options, and these are pulled from the ROR registry. So if you don't see your organization, consider making that suggestion to the ROR record. So let's choose any organization here. You will find actually here also the link, so you can validate this. If this is not your case and if for some reason are still not interested in making this suggestion to ROR, you can just add a string here. Whoop, there is some typos there. So as you can see here, you will see a sort of a warning. This is not present this will be in the metadata, but it will be less discoverable. So you can just make this request to add it at the raw registry. And following this link, you will be taken to the submission form. You will be able to select the role of this author, and then you can continue adding other contributors as part of the full list of authors. And then you will see the text box for the abstract. Notice that you can also specify the specific language that you are adding your abstract in. You can add actually multiple abstracts. So for example, I'm adding here some dummy text in, let's say, Spanish, and well, actually Latin, but you can say that one is in Spanish, the other one is in English. However, notice that it's also prompting a warning here, letting you know that both abstracts are in the same. So we will choose something else. We can specify, for example, here, English. Then we will have some mandatory fields, for example, like the publication date. Notice that you need to add at least one of those, not necessarily both. And then, for example, here you can also start adding right away the funding metadata. So once again, here you will find the funder organization. This is once again pulled from the ROR registry. It works the same as the affiliation. You can also specify the word number, license URLs, full text content, also for similarity check. And this is one of the most interesting features that were added recently. You can also specify relationships of your content type. So for example, let's say I'm depositing a journal article, and we know that this journal article also has a translation, for example, that also has been deposited with Crossref. You can specify, for example, that this DOI has a translation, and then you can add the DOI of the translated version. If this one was ABC, let's say that this is FGH, and then this will be declared as part of the metadata. And of course, you can add multiple relationships. For example, let's say that this not only has a translation, but also comes from a preprint. You can also specify this, adding the specific DOI. And of course, you can also add the list of references as part of your work. And then this will be If this included UI, this will be structured and declared as part of the metadata. If they don't, they will be added as unstructured metadata. So now let's click next. Notice that here it's prompting an error because our secondary and tertiary authors don't have the mandatory fields. So just for the sake of the example, I'm going to delete these two and then move to the next step. So here you will be prompted to select the journal that you are depositing this in. Uh, I'm going to use a testing journal. It will be pre-filled out with the different options. For example, the ISSN, the printed ISSN, full title, if it has abbreviations. Uh, um, these are the fields to deposit this. Notice that you can also include issue level metadata here. And let's say that notice that these are not mandatory. And if you want a clarification, you also have these help tools here. Finally, in the last step, you will see the possibility to review the different options, the different metadata that you are adding. Please take your time, make sure that you are reading everything here. If everything looks correct, you can just click submit and everything will be ready. Your deposit will be sent to the queue. Of course, we can always either make mistakes and then we need to fix something, or some metadata needs to be updated. We now learn about different things that we're missing. We will have the options to go back, and if we go to the main interface, let's see how it looks when you want to edit this. Well, any of the records that you should have available as part of your previous deposits. So once you click edit record, you should see a list of all of the different records that you should have deposited via different methods. If you don't see your specific deposit, you can directly search here for your given DOI. I'm not going to look for anything specific because this is an example, but if you enter your DOI here, if it was correctly deposited, it should appear. So let's select this one. So as you can see here, we have our test DOI. Let's click the edit action. And basically this will take you back to all of the pre-filled options that you have available. So for example, in this case, this, for example, it doesn't have the article number, so we can add something here. Or for example, you learned in this case, we had, for example, a founder name, but we didn't have an award name, so we can add this field. You can also add anything that we're missing before, like the license URL. You can add missing references if that was the case. So it basically will take you back to all of the options that you already had there. And you can just, once again, just resubmit the metadata. You can take a look here at how it looks when you already have references included as part of the deposit. And then if you click submit, it will be updated. Don't forget that making these updates to your metadata doesn't have any cost, so you can make any updates to keep your metadata as updated and clean as you need it. Let me see if there is any specific question here in the chat. I don't see anything. So in the meantime, I will continue with the presentation. Let me move this away from the presentation. So now that we just witnessed how it works, let me tell you a little bit more about what's next, what's in the future, what are we going to do next. So as you saw in the demo, we are supporting at the moment only two types of content: journal articles and grad metadata. So the next content that they will be supported, those will be added to that drop-down list are books and book chapters. Those are currently being tested, making sure that works smoothly, so everything works perfectly for you. And then in the future, we will start working on adding post-publication updates to the different content types, and also adding conference proceedings, reports, and dissertations. Here I'm also adding this DOI link in case you missed it. So this is the announcement and the more extended context about why we deprecated the old version of Metadata Manager. Just a recap of the things that we just covered today, but you can just give it a look in case that you are feeling curious. And then, of course, a couple of recommendations. It's always useful to have this link at hand, so you can just take a look at this. Just uh, type manage.crossref.org/records. You can just bookmark it, keep it at hand, start using it. Uh, Please make sure that when you are doing your new article records deposits, please include your ISSN. And of course, once again, if you want to edit something, don't hesitate to just go back to the edit button and make any correction that you think. You should also able to find old records from the previous metadata manager there. And we still have a lot of, yeah, a bit of time. So if you have any other questions, this is the time. Maybe someone wants to do a live test of it or want to, yeah, unmute their microphones and then ask a question live. Um, Once again, if you want to get some extra help, uh, please go through our documentation. Uh, Take a note of the link that is available here. If you want to share some extra feedback or you want to just have your question replied on the answered on the open, visit our community forum. There is also, this is not only monitored by our support team, but also by our ambassadors, and then other very active members of the community. So you can just have a conversation there or just share feedback in general. And if none of those options work, you can just contact our support team directly at this link that you have available here. Any questions so far? Let's see. Bernie is asking about the slides. We will make them available for everybody. No worries about that. Uh, then, Jeff is asking, will the direct deposit method of XML will continue to be an option? That's correct. Those are not going to be deprecated, so you can continue doing your XML deposits. Once again, if we go back to that flowchart that we started in the first slide, this is more of an option for people that are not necessarily that comfortable or don't have workflows optimized for XMLs. So if you are already using XMLs, that you can continue doing that. Adil is asking about translations. So you can have a journal article or any content type that is available in the original language, but there are also not content types. There is also, you can have available translations of a work that are made available either by the same author or a different person is doing a translation of a different work, and that's also deposited either by the same journal or a different one. So you can declare these relationships also to make it more findable and understand that one version is specifically one translation of the other. Uh, okay, what else do we have here? Just in case people are not following the Q&A. For example, Cassandra was asking, what if I'm not seeing records from prior to last year? Uh, those are not included by default. You have to import them. But once again, If you don't see anything, just try to find your DOI in the search box. Uh, those should appear there, and if not, please contact our support team. Has anyone does anyone have access to this tool? Is anyone trying to do some live testing now? Besides Cassandra, someone else, just to because we would like to hear from you if this sounds um, if this looks like something that you can continue using in the future. If you are missing any specific feature here, any piece of feedback would be really valuable. Of course, just in case, we are going to be sharing this has been recorded, and we will also share the slides with everybody. And once again, all of this is also available in our documentation in the main website. Is there any other question? Okay, so Ferdinand has a question here. Uh, should DOS be validated by Crossref before being entered into the article submission form? Validated in which sense?
I think that might be a misunderstanding. The DOIs, the process of submitting the metadata is how you validate the DOIs. The Crossref doesn't sort of supply DOIs or even, there are very few constraints on what your DOIs can be. It's just there's a somewhat limited character set that you can use, but
Mhm.
otherwise, the way the DOIs are validated is by you submitting them with the metadata and with their resolution URLs. So there's no pre-registration process to like validate or check them. It all happens in one go. But if that didn't answer your question, please, unmute or add a new question into the Q&A and we'll re elaborate or pivot.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Shane. Um, Linda has a request here, not a question, but if you need to update your password, please send us an email to the support email. Uh, Take a note here of the support form that is available at crossref.org/contact. And then this will create a ticket and we will reply to that as soon as we can. But if you already sent an email to support, um, let us know when you send this so we can track it in case it hasn't been um, it hasn't been handled yet. I don't see any more open questions. Um, Once again, this will be shared with everybody. We're also doing from time to time these webinars in different languages. So uh, keep an eye on our social media channels and our communications, also our newsletters. Um, if you want to, oh, thank you, Linda. If you want to see this in a different language, keep an eye on that because from time to time we offer different alternative options. And if you're finding this useful, also let us know because that's how we know that we can continue doing this and the community finds it relevant. So we still have some time. If there is no other question, we can start concluding our session. Once again, you have our the support links there. If you need anything from us, don't hesitate to contact us. And oh yes, exactly. I suspected that there might be more questions. Um, oh, interesting. So Patricia is asking why the DOI isn't linking to the Crossref page. What else do we need to do besides generating the DOI?
Do you have an example of a DOI that isn't linking? The likeliest answer is that you didn't actually register it, even if you thought you registered it, something went wrong in the registration process. If that's the case and you try to resolve the DOI, you'll end up at a error page that says DOI not found.
Yeah. While we wait for a little bit in case Patricia has an example of those errors, just this opportunity to ask more questions or also feedback. What would you like to see next in the metadata manager? Uh, okay. Oh, interesting. If you need a certificate, I can follow up with that. Um, Let me take a note of this. However, please notice that this tool is available for everybody right now. So we can provide a certificate, but you don't need a certificate in order to start using this. Let's see. Uh, Very well. There is another open question here. Yeah, so your ISSN is in process, so you cannot submit articles using this form. Um, but once you have, okay, also here we have an example. Thank you. So in that case, you can continue using the web deposit form as you were probably doing before, or let us know what's your current method.
You can register DOIs for journal content without an ISSN using the web deposit form, but it gets a little complicated later once you have the ISSN. If there's any way you could, if you know you're going to get the ISSN soon, like in after your next issue is published, it's simpler and easier for everyone if you just wait and don't register any DOIs for your current issue until you have the ISSN, then you can go back and register them once you have the ISSN. Um, it just makes everything, not just because you can use this new metadata manager tool, but because the workaround to not have an ISSN is to register a journal level DOI for your journal.
Mm,
But like all DOIs, journal level DOIs are persistent. Once you register it, you're stuck with it. You have to keep using, you have to maintain it. And it gets people get a little bit because the process of using the web deposit form without an ISSN requires a certain amount of consistency from one deposit to the next between the journal title, the journal level DOI, and you have to be really clear what's the journal level DOI and what's an issue level DOI, and that often is confusing or easy to mix up. So if you can wait, I'd strongly suggest just waiting until you have the ISSN. If there's some reason, if you know it's going to be a long time before you have the ISSN, or there's some reason you absolutely have to register these articles that you have right now, you can. Just be aware that it might cause some confusion down the line.
Thank you. I see we have here an example DUI that is not resolving.
Yeah, that DOI, as I suspected, is not registered.
Mhm.
There, if you there are two reasons. There's two possibilities for what could have happened. One, you might never have submitted the metadata to even try to register it, and so until that point, when a DOI is not registered, it's not really a DOI. It's just a bunch of characters that look like a DOI. Um, so you might have not even attempted to register it, or you might have attempted to register it and something went wrong. Your XML was messed up, your credentials were incorrect. Like there's a lot of reasons why a metadata submission could fail. So if you think you've tried to register this, get in touch with our support team. The contact link is in the chat, or you can email us at support@crossref.org, and we can look into the metadata deposit history for your account and see if there are like failed submissions and why they failed. If you have a submission log, if you know that you attempted to submit metadata for this and you got an email back that said, error with an error message, send us the that error message and the submission ID number from that log, and that'll make allow us to solve that, answer, the question to figure out what went wrong a little bit faster. But yeah, the short answer to why this DOI isn't linking, if you try to resolve it using that doi.org slash and then the DOI link, you'll end up at a page that says DOI not found, and that always means that the DOI just has never been registered.
Mhm. Very well. Um, okay, so here we have a good question about DOI suffixes. You want to take this one live, Shane, just in case everybody knows the context?
Oh, sure. The Excel suffix generator, we have a little file available from our documentation site. I can see if I can find the link to it. Uh, that It's just a macro-enabled Excel sheet where you put in your DOI, the prefix that Crossref assigned to your organization, and it will generate a bunch of random strings for your suffixes. The ideal DOI suffix is a completely random, meaningless string of characters. So that's just what this Excel macro does. It just pairs your prefix with a bunch of random characters to create DOI, full DOIs, and you can use those when you're assigning your DOIs to your content. Where is this macro? I don't know where we put it. Well, I'll put a link in the chat to the documentation on how to construct DOIs, including the character limitations for suffixes and the um, best practice for making the DOIs opaque. Um, Suggested workflow. Oh, here it is. And then this page has the macro-enabled Excel spreadsheet that will randomly generate some suffixes for you. We know that many members use suffixes with sort of discernible patterns, like instead of a random string of characters, they'll be like the volume number, the issue number, a journal abbreviation, the first page number, the author name, and those are not ideal. I think what's important to remember is that if you do that, it's only for your own convenience. It's to help you as the publisher or as the editor keep track of what DOIs you've assigned to which articles. It's not for end users to know. It's not for the readers or authors or anyone other than your own workflow. And we will still treat them as if they're random. So if you know, assign a DOI to an article and then later change which issue it's in, and you say, oh, the suffix said, V2I3, but now it's V2I4. What we're going to say is sorry, it doesn't matter because that doesn't mean anything, and you just got to
Mhm.
keep the DOI that you registered. So just be aware that you can use those patterns. We can't stop you, but the best practice is that the suffixes are just completely random and meaningless. All the meaning all comes from the metadata that you're attaching when you register
Exactly.
the DOIs.
Very well. Is there
I don't know if I
any?
actually answered the question directly, which is yes, please, if you feel free to use that Excel tool, that's why we have it available. It helps you comply with our best practice recommendation. You don't have to use it. You could generate random strings of characters in any number of ways, but that's just one way to do it.
Is there any other question? Oh, is it the Shane, does it require for a password?
It shouldn't. I think what you might need is to you might have some settings. It might have to do with your Excel settings. You have to make sure you have macros enabled um, in order to use it. There's no password that we govern. That's a good question about LibreOffice. I'm not actually sure. Um, would you mind sending us an email to support@crossref.org? I'll put that in the chat as well with that question. And one of my colleagues built that Excel macro, and I will ask him if it works with LibreOffice or if there's anything special that needs to happen
Mhm.
to use it in LibreOffice.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your questions, everyone.
All right. I think if there are no more questions, we can start concluding our session. Thank you, everybody. If you still want to ask anything, you have our emails, you have our community forum where you can ask many other things. And thank you very much for your assistance. I will follow up with more information about the certificates for those of you who need it, and see you in the next one. Thank you very much. Have a nice rest of your day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.